Atoms and molecules are in constant motion. Everything has a certain amount of thermal energy, of kinetic energy. And the temperature of a substance is a measure of the thermal energy that that substance has. The hotter an object is, the greater the random motion of its particles. So one way to help you remember this is barefoot people on the beach. So think about barefoot people walking on the sand around here. Well, we don't have a lot of beaches. Did you know that Reedley has a beach? We do. We have a beach. It's on the river. So there's not, like an ocean or anything, but we do have a whole bunch of sand. So Reedley Beach. So this time of year, on the dry sand, walking barefoot, does that sound fun? No. Why? It's hot. You're going to burn your feet. So what if you're, over in the parking lot and you want to get to the nice cold water? How do you get there? You run. You hot-foot it, right? It's an actual expression. You hot-foot it. You go as fast as you can to the cold water. On hot sand, people are going to move quickly with bare feet because otherwise your feet are going to burn. What if you go to Pismo? The reason people go to Pismo in the summer is because it's going to be foggy and windy and cold, right? So what about people walking barefoot on the beach at Pismo? Are they going to be jumping around like their feet are on fire? No, because the sand is cold. You're just strolling along, right? So that's the way particles are. A substance that is hot, the particles are moving a lot. Now, they may not be moving relative to each other, but this is like that, kindergartner that really needs to use the bathroom, but he's afraid to raise his hand and ask, and so he's just like jiggling around in his seat. That would be a very warm molecule, right? Wiggling around a lot. And then you have, the college student who was up really late last night because he has a job, he has to support himself, and he falls asleep during lecture. Very low kinetic energy, right? Just barely breathing. So that would be a cold substance, okay? So heat and temperature are related, but they're not the same thing. Heat is a transfer or exchange of thermal energy from one substance to another, and that transfer is caused by a difference in temperature. Heat has units of energy, because heat is an energy. So you take a piece of cold ice and you drop it into a cup of warm water, what happens? The ice melts and the water gets cooler, right? There's a transfer of thermal energy from the warm water to the ice cube, causing the ice cube to melt and warm up. That's heat. Temperature is a measure of the thermal energy contained in a piece of matter. Heat is a transfer of thermal energy. So heat has units of energy. Temperature has units of temperature. So there are 3 different temperature scales: the Fahrenheit scale, the Celsius scale, and the Kelvin scale. Fahrenheit is what we use in the United States to say what the temperature in this room is, which is we're up to 68.5 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be great if it was winter, but not when we're dressed for summer. Or if they say it's going to be 106 degrees, they mean Fahrenheit. Celsius is what we use in science. Room temperature, about 72 degrees Fahrenheit would be 22 degrees Celsius. And then the Kelvin scale, we'll talk more about that one later. Kelvin uses 0 as the absolute coldest possible temperature. At that temperature, the particles in that matter would not be moving at all. There'd be no motion. So here we have an illustration comparing these 3 different temperature scales. So here we have water boiling up here, water freezing, and this would be absolute 0, the lowest possible temperature. So the Fahrenheit scale, water freezes at 32, boils at 212. Again, nice English units with really bizarre random numbers, right? The Celsius scale is a metric scale. It's based on powers of 10. So here 0 is assigned to the temperature at which water freezes, 100 to the temperature at which water boils. The only difference between the Kelvin scale and the Celsius scale is where is 0. The difference between boiling and freezing of water is still 100 units, but now for Kelvin, 0 is the absolute lowest temperature. So on the Kelvin scale, you cannot have a negative temperature. On the Celsius scale, you can have negative temperatures, and absolute 0 would be minus 273.15. For Fahrenheit, that would be close to minus 500. Super, super cold. We need to be able to convert between these different temperature scales. And these are the formulas that we're going to use. I think I'll give you these formulas on an exam, but you need to be able to use them correctly. Okay? Kelvin to Celsius is pretty simple. It just involves adding or subtracting. If you've got a Celsius temperature, you add 273.15, and that gets you the Kelvin temperature. The Celsius to Fahrenheit is more complicated, because if we look at these scales, the 0 is not in the same place, and the size of the degrees is not the same. Here we have 100 degrees between boiling and freezing, and on the Fahrenheit scale there's 180. And so that's why the relationship here is kind of ugly. So we have the minus 32 to fix the 0 problem, and the 1.8 to fix the different size of the degrees.
How come we're one of the only countries that hasn't switched over? Because if you go to most countries, they do Celsius.
That's an excellent question. Why are we one of the only countries that hasn't switched over to Celsius? And we haven't switched over. We keep saying we're going to use the metric system, and we keep playing with it like we have 2-liter bottles of soda, but we still sell gasoline by the gallon. That would be a good, sociology probably question. But yeah, it's dumb. The metric system is much easier to use. Okay, let's do a couple examples. Convert 358 Kelvin to Celsius. Now, temperature conversions are ones that require the use of an equation. So you can't just use dimensional analysis. So these do require an equation. So Kelvin to Celsius, we need the equation. Kelvin equals the Celsius temperature plus 273.15. So here we're given the Kelvin temperature, and we're asked to find the Celsius temperature. This equation isn't set up for that. Whenever you have to rearrange equations, I would encourage you to do it before you put the numbers in, because it's easier to do with just the letters. So what I want to do is I want to rearrange this equation. I want to get the Celsius by itself. Celsius equals what? So to do that, I'm going to subtract 273.15 from this side, so that's 0. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I end up, well, let's make that a little neater. Sheesh, that wasn't neat. So that was 0, so plus 0. So the Celsius temperature is going to equal the Kelvin temperature minus 273.15. So that's 358 minus 273.15. Uh, 358 minus 273.15. So my calculator tells me 84.85. And that would be degrees Celsius. Now, what about significant figures? The operation here is subtracting. So we're looking at decimal places, right? Not sig figs. How many decimal places does 358 have?
0.
None. How many does 273.15 have? 2. So the fewest number of decimal places is no decimal places. So that means that we should round this to the nearest 1. And we're looking at this one to decide whether we round up or down. And so we're going to say That is 85 degrees Celsius. Okay? Let's do another one. You didn't get all that? I'll tell you a shortcut for sig figs with temperature conversions. However many decimal places the starting number has is how many the answer should have. So here, our starting value was to the nearest 1 Kelvin, so then our answer should be to the nearest 1 degree Celsius. For Celsius to Kelvin, that just is following the sig fig rules. When we get to Fahrenheit Celsius conversions, it gets a little murky, and this rule works really well there. Okay, so let's convert 139 Celsius to Fahrenheit. So we're going to need the equation. And the equation is degrees Celsius is the temperature in Fahrenheit minus 32 divided by 1.8. So here again, we've got the equation giving us Fahrenheit and Celsius, but it's not set up right. We want to know degrees Fahrenheit equals what? So we have to rearrange this equation. This is something that if you aren't good at rearranging equations, we're going to need to work on that because you're going to have to rearrange some equations. The principle in rearranging equations is you have to do the same thing to both sides, right? Because the Celsius temperature is equal to the stuff on the other side. And we need to maintain the equality, so if we do something to one side, we have to do it to the other side. So if I multiply both sides by 1.8, if I multiply that one by 1.8 and I multiply this by 1.8, it's still equal, right? 1.8 divided by 1.8 is what? 1. So we say those cancel out. So let's look at what we have now. We have 1.8 times the temperature in Celsius equals the temperature in Fahrenheit minus 32. We're trying to get Fahrenheit by itself. So I got rid of the 1.8. Now I need to get rid of the 32. If I add 32 to this side, minus 32 plus 32, that adds up to 0, right? And so then this side would be equal to just Fahrenheit. But if I add 32 to one side, I have to add 32 to the other side. So we end up with the temperature in Fahrenheit is equal to 1.8 times the temperature in Celsius plus 32. So 1.8 times 139 plus 32. Calculator says 282.2. Anybody else get that number? Yep. Thanks. Now, sig figs, we've got mixed operations here. We've got multiplication and we've got addition. And so you can go through the gymnastics and do that. But what it's going to come down to is this temperature was expressed to the nearest 1 degree Celsius. It had 0 decimal places. We should round our final answer to the same. And this is because a Fahrenheit degree and a Celsius degree are very similar in size. And so we don't have to do all the sig fig rules. We can just round it to the same decimal place and we'll be good. Now, this is my method. The book does figure out the sig figs, but it shouldn't cost you any points on the homework. And I think this isn't actually a better method. It's more accurate than actually following sig figs for this. Any questions?
these problems on these, you don't want us to do sig figs?
Yeah, you don't need to follow sig fig rules here. It's much faster and I think better to just look at how many decimal places did the starting temperature have, and then write the answer with the same number of decimal places. So this one had 0 decimal places, so I rounded this one so it had 0 decimal places.
But all the others, we were doing sig figs.
All the other unit conversion things, yes, we're doing sig figs. What about minus 31 Fahrenheit to kelvins? I didn't give you an equation showing kelvins and Fahrenheit.
So you got to do both equations.
We got to do 2 of them. So we have to take the Fahrenheit and turn it into Celsius, and then turn the Celsius into Kelvin. So you might want to, give yourself a little note. Okay, I'm going to take Fahrenheit and I'm going to convert to Celsius, and then I'm going to convert to kelvins. So going from Fahrenheit to Celsius, the equation now is set up the right way, so that's nice. That's the equation. We've got the Fahrenheit temperature, so we can just plug that in. Be careful when you're dealing with negative numbers. Minus 321 minus 32 divided by 1.8. And be careful when you're communicating with your calculator. You need to finish this subtraction before you do the division. So I'm going to do minus 321 minus 32. I'm going to press equals on my calculator to make it finish that, and then I'm going to divide by 1.8. Or you can use parentheses. And so this is giving me 196.1111 repeating. And that would be degrees Celsius. I don't want to round that just yet because I still have another calculation to do. So this number I would normally round, since this was had 0 decimal places, I'd round this one to 0 decimal places. I want to keep at least 2 extras along the way so that I don't have rounding errors. To go from the Celsius to Kelvin, Kelvin equals the Celsius temperature plus 273.15. So I'm going to plug that number in here. I've got negative 196.11, and I'm going to add 273.15. Got that number still in my calculator. I'm going to add 273.15, and I'm getting 77 point, well, let me do that, negative 96.1. .04 Kelvin. Now I want to round this. My original temperature had 0 decimal places, and so I'm going to round this to 0 decimal places as well, and I'm going to say that's 77 Kelvin. The abbreviation for Kelvin is just a capital K. It's not a degree Kelvin, it's just a Kelvin. Any questions?